Hey, good night once again. Just want to share a few words of encouragement. Hopefully, it helps you to get you in your journey. I help you to realize that you're actually just stuck in traffic. Now, today I'm here at the playground, and it's a place where a lot of us had fun, did a lot of learning, did a lot of trial and errors, and we can receive a lot of our growth in environments like these. But unfortunately, for a lot of us, a lot of these traits that we have learned to adapt as we're growing up, we never really seem to transition to adulthood. Now, the point I wanted to make today was that a lot of us have a lot of childhood tendencies that we have brought with us to adulthood. And when we bring these childhood tendencies, now let me explain what these childhood tendencies are. Uh, because of the restraint of time, I'll try to sum it up as quick as I can. You see, when we're younger, we learn how to cope. We learn how to cope through difficult situations. We learn how to cope through trials. We learn how to cope through tragedies and different things like that. And those coping skills is what usually helps to carry us through our lives and helps us to mature and to grow. But unfortunately, for a lot of us, we still have a lot of those tendencies. We haven't grown up and adapted to adult tendencies, which is responsibility and accountability. So what happens now when you find yourself in similar situations like you had in your childhood, you now tend to use the same mechanisms. Like, give you an example, like when you get angry, like when you were younger and you get angry, it's a particular way that you dealt with your anger. You know, some people will confront and say, well, I'm not going to be a doormat and let nobody take advantage of me. And you fight. You know, so as you get older, when somebody violates you or say something you don't like, that's your response, that's your trigger. So a lot of those tendencies that you have when you were younger, you brought them into your adulthood. You know, another one is someone that's a little more passive aggressive in their adulthood. These are characteristics. Now, when they were a child, how they probably dealt with a lot of hurt is more so internalize it. They internalize the hurt by not confronting the person that is inflicting the pain, you know, psychologically upon them. And they choose to retaliate in a manner that would make that individual, the person that's causing the discomfort for them, they retaliate against them in a manner where it's indirectly. So what happens now, they bring that tendency into their adulthood. So when they find themselves in a situation where someone might be dealing with them in a way that, you know, inflicting some kind of psychological pain upon them, you know, they internalize it. You know, they shut down. They don't know how to express themselves, or they don't want to express themselves for the fear of retaliation or how they feel that person might come back at them. So what they do, they internalize it and they try to affect that person in a manner where it doesn't seem like they're affecting them. So I'll give you a case in point, like a child, when you were a child and your mom's got you upset and she told you to go clean up or wash the dishes, right? You go in the kitchen, you're mad because you have to wash the dishes, but now when you're washing the dishes, you know, you're banging the plates, the pots, you're making a whole lot of ruckus over the sink, you're splashing the water all over the place, you know, knowing that when you do these things irritate, you know, your mom or your dad or whoever was in authority that told you to go do your chores. You know, so that was your way of retaliating against them in a passive way. So it's the same way with now with a lot of adults. You know, we have to really look and examine and see how we deal with situations. Because now as adults, a lot of us still conduct ourselves in the same manner. A lot of us still deal with situations the same way we dealt with it as a child. You see, now when you become an adult, you have to now deal with situation, confronting it head on. You cannot shy away from it. You know, if someone upsets you or someone makes you mad, you know, you express to them the discontent or how you're feeling in the moment. You know, understanding that they might not like it. They might choose to separate themselves from you. They might choose not to deal with you, but it's something now you have to accept. But at least you made it known that, you know, this is something that you don't approve of. But a lot of us as adults, you know, and I myself, you know, having to be a little more aware of my behavior and how I deal with situation. Because a lot of these childhood tendencies only rises to the surface most cases when you're going through some harsh time or you're going through some trying moments or you're going through some setbacks in life. Look and see how you deal with those situations. Look and see how you address those situations. Do you get mad? You know, for a lot of females now that might be in a relationship, you know, sometimes when your husband or your boyfriend or whoever gets you upset, you know, look and see how you deal with that situation. Look and see how you retaliate. Is it the same childlike manner? You see, the Bible tells you when we're a child, we act like a child and we do things as a child. But when we become an adult, we have to mature. Okay, we have to put away childish things. And putting away childish things meaning the childlike understanding and mannerisms in which we used to handle situations. You see, being an adult means that you now have to be accountable. You have to be accountable for your actions. You have to be accountable for the things that you do. Don't always try to shift the blame or don't try to pass the buck to someone else, but hold yourself accountable. This is what being an adult is all about. And if a lot of times you find yourself in situations and you don't want to address it, you don't want to confront the person, or if someone makes you mad, you know, you just cut them off. And that's something that I myself used to do. You know, someone do me something, I wouldn't confront them. I would assume their intent. And because I'm not a confrontational person, I'll assume their intent. And whatever their intent might be, I might assume it to be the worst. And because their intent was the worst, I choose now to cast a judgment that I feel is suitable for the offense. And that judgment sometimes might be breaking up with someone. That judgment might be cutting somebody off, don't ever speaking to them again. And they might never know why, you know what I mean, I just choose to just move that way with them. You see, but that's how I used to deal with things as a child. But as I come into this understanding, I realize now that I have to let people know how I feel. And letting them know how they feel, they might not agree with me. And it's a two-way street, you know, because someone might confront you and let you know that something that you're doing is not pleasing to their liking, and you also have to accept that, you know. And a lot of times when you're confronted or you're backed in a corner or someone highlights your fault, you know, a lot of us have defaults to where now, back to these childhood tendencies, you get angry. You get angry because someone now is confronting you and holding you accountable for your actions. You see, and when someone comes now and confronts you, you know, it's not for you to get upset, you know, but to hear what they have to say and then now address the matter accordingly. You see, the Bible tells us also in Galatians, the 6th chapter, that when you foresee someone with a fault, you know, those that are spiritual, restore that one in the spirit of meekness. You know, so you have to be confrontational in a sense to where you have to address the issue. And that's what being an adult, part of being an adult is. You know, being accountable, holding yourself accountable, and holding others accountable in your life. You know, don't have people around you and they'll treat you a certain way, and, you know, you allow your childhood tendency to, you know, cause you to internalize things and become more stressed out instead of addressing it. So once again, this is Kanai. Put away childish thing and step into adulthood. Shalom.